crabs. They're up there, just I don't think about it. We have another show and tell here today. Okay. It'll come around. It'll come around. Good morning, good morning. Okay, we're trying something a little tiny bit different today. I put the mic, instead of putting it instead of putting the mic here like I usually do, I've got it tucked under my collar here today. I presume it's okay. It might have a different kind of noise if I move my head, I don't know. I did eat well this morning and I can feel already lots of busyness, so perhaps it's best to keep the mic in a different place. So, okay, good morning, good morning. Good crowd here. You probably can't see it in the stream because it's sort of washed out, but we have a blue sky. At last we have an autumn blue sky here. Whether it's going to be a stay for a while or not, I don't know. But what looks washed out in the little video there is actually a blue sky. Okay, what have we got going here? Work, packing. There's lots of packing. I know most of our shipping, of course, is done from Ome, but stuff like for the flea market or the Doi Hunger prints, they're not stocked in Ome, of course. Ome has the inventory of our own prints, the prints we publish. So when orders come in that are mixed, they've got our own prints plus a flea market, they have to be shipped from Asakusa. And there's nobody else here to do this, so this is my job today. We've got a bunch of stuff to ship from Asakusa. Cameron prepared them for me yesterday. It's no panic, the post office is closed on a weekend anyway, but I got to get it by Monday. Okay, what's on the desk here? Soka, this is work waiting, but we're probably not going to do it here. This is stuff in from the printers. You saw the package that was delivered just during the stream yesterday. This is what was in the two packages. This is back numbers of one of our portraits prints. Beautifully printed. This is Kawai-san. I talked about him in that video that we uploaded just last week. He is doing really nicely, really nicely. He's still too slow, way too slow, but he is doing really nicely. Consistent, smooth color, consistent color, very, very nicely. And then this one, it just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. We have to keep saying thank you to Hiroshi Yoshida for giving us this design. This is a batch of prints just back from Chiharu-san, one of our young lady printers. She works at home in her house up in Nagano Prefecture. She had a baby a couple of years ago and quit, but came back because she's living at home now and her mother's taking care of the baby, and she is printing. And again, same story. Consistent, just right across, print to print, one to one, they're all the same. This is the one, anybody can make this for themselves if you want. This is, if you get Yoshida Hiroshi's book, which is free on our website for looking at. It's in our library on our website. Yoshida Hiroshi's book gives complete, absolute instructions, step by step, for making this print. Shows the key block, shows the color block breakdown, shows how to hold the knife, you name it. Instructions on how to make this print. Do it yourself. You don't need to buy it from us. Anyway, today after the stream, I'll be checking these one by one by one. They'll be paper dots or chitty that I have to pull out, stuff like that. Then I get these out of the way for now. Yeah, there's two. The night design is there as well. So. Okay, what's the content today? It'll be, of course, carving on the same thing here. I have a show and tell. There's the show and tell is three things today mixed together. There is a normal little show and tell that arrived a couple of days ago. I have a slightly bit of an updated show and tell. We have to give you an update on that Meiji series of Tokaido postcard prints. And then this may be something to do with our stream members or our chat members or not. I don't know. I suspect it might be something to do with one of our members here. A package arrived yesterday from Amazon. We all know what this means, but not from Amazon Japan. It arrived from Dunfermline in Fife in the United Kingdom. And it doesn't tell me what it is, but the box that says gift is checked off. I have no idea what it is. But given that it's a gift from overseas arriving, it may be something to do with somebody here. So we will open it come show and tell time. I don't think it's food. I know when food and stuff come into Japan, I've done this. I've had stuff, my daughters have sent food and stuff before. It gets customs inspected because they're really worried about stuff like fruit or meat with worms in it or something. So this is not going to be food. It's not frozen. It's not marked as food. Scotland, or maybe Scotland is just the Amazon return address. I don't know. Anyway, UK. No idea. A bag of haggis. There is one printer today, Ishikawa-san. She's working upstairs. She hasn't arrived yet. You'll probably see her come in the door sometime as we get going here. Did I manage to read the chat from last stream? Yes, I did. I struggled. I struggled through it. Of course I read it. Of course I read it. It's fun, it's fun for me to be a little part of this. It's okay. I'm the excuse for this. I'm not the... Okay, we're moving along here. The cameras are all in a different position because the staff, again, yesterday Yamada-san and Watanabe-san were here. And they did a ton of photography for the collection. A ton of it. Everything's at the wrong angle here today. They did a ton of photography. And in fact, already last night, some of their stuff that they shot was up. I don't know if you've been tracking it, but we should do a page of news so you can see what's new in the collection. There's a ton of stuff up there last couple of days. Oh, I do not like this Gumby. I'll tell you, I do not like this Gumby. We talked about it before. Today's Saturday, we had the stream Thursday, and then after the stream on Thursday, I made that quick trip out to Ome. There was 3 or 4 things waiting. I needed to bring some things back from the collection for here, but also there was a call from City Hall. I don't remember what I mentioned about it, but we have a problem with the sewer system at the house in Ome. And I was a bit apprehensive about this. I talked to the guy from Ome City Hall. I went up there on Thursday, and I met with the people. The City Hall people from the sewer department came, and I was there, and we pulled up the manholes and stuff and inspected it, and this could have been a real problem for me. There's the connection between our house, my house, and the neighbor's house. The 3 houses are joined together in one physical structure. They're on a huge platform, and they're joined to the city utilities at one place. And the connection from these houses to the sewer is on my property. And because we are on such a severe slope, it's like, I don't know what it is, it's 55 degrees slope or something like this. It's really steep. And it's moving bit by bit by bit. The slope is moving. The place where my driveway hits the road, the building was built 27 years ago, and there's now a gap of, it's not an inch, it's 1.5 centimeters or something, maybe 1/2 inch or so. So the house is pulling away from the slope at that kind of rate. It's like 1 centimeter every 12 years or something like that. And because it's pulling away, the connections, the water coming in and the sewer going out, have been stressed and strained. And finally, over the past few months, something popped or something cracked, and the sewer connection from our home, our houses, to the main sewer is popped. and sewage is still going through. Things are still working, but there's leaks and there's smells, and something is clearly wrong. So anyway, I went out there on Thursday to meet with them, and my fear was that this would be my responsibility. My house is physically moving, the city is not moving. And if that breaks the sewer connection, I was thinking they're going to say to me, okay, guy, that's it. Let's get a construction company in here, dig this out, and reconnect it. But, because the manhole and the connection are actually on my property, this is a special case. Normally manholes are out in the street, you run your own sewer, you pay to the connection to the part out there, and it's their job from there on in. But because the main connection is in my property and the manhole and the access are in my property, they are considering it to be their responsibility. And he was actually worried that I was going to be hassling him. You're making trouble in my garden, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm not hassling him at all about this. I'm just happy that this is being taken care of. So they're going to do it. They're going to bring their crews in, dig a hole there, go right down to what's necessary, patch it all back up, fill it in, and put it back to normal, even though it's actually on our property. And he was sort of apologizing for the trouble. And I'm like, it's okay, let's make sure it doesn't happen again. Whatever. No, we had a good time. We had a good time. Really nice people. Although that's not the end of the story. There is a problem. Because the house is moving, there's a front fence. Those few of you who are on the stream here have been there may remember there's a sort of a block, a concrete block fence at the front of the property. It's on the property line, it's a fence. And because of the movement of the building, this fence has started to fall. And it's now, about the angle I'm showing you here, that fence inwards is now angled like this. And it's a concrete block fence with concrete and rebar inside. So outside is here, the street is here, the fence is leaning towards my house, and the sewer thing is right here inside. So they're going to fix the sewer thing, but they're nervous the fact that they're going to do this underneath a fence that's about to fall. So fair enough, they have said, Dave, okay, we'll do this, but before we send the men in here, you've got to do something about that fence. I say fence, but it's a wall. It's a concrete block wall. And if it fell on somebody, it would be no fun. And the reason I haven't fixed it yet is because it's falling inwards, not outwards. You can't do that. So Aoyama-san and I first have to fix that block wall, and then when that's done, we call them, and they come in and take care of the sewer fix-up. So we'll be out there next week. I don't know what day it is. We've got the streams here, so we'll do it on a non-stream day, of course. Or maybe we'll take the cameras out there and we'll do the construction on stream or something. Who knows? Whatever. We'll think about it later. And it's a concrete wall, so it's going to be hammers and chisels and safety goggles and whatever. Have I got the camera in the right place? Probably not here. Sorry about that. Someone's asking, this wall right here, I guess, I don't know, no idea. If you're looking at my house, it's the wall between the house and the street. The part that's got to come down is the part with the post box. You'll see there's a mailbox and a doorbell, whatever. And that's leaning inwards. And we're not going to fix it. We're just going to tear it down. We're not going to build a new one. We don't care. And speaking of construction, there's a construction at this end. We talked about the wall here, part of the concrete fell off the front of the building a couple of weeks ago. And that's scheduled now, Sunday morning. I do not think this is a great time to do construction on a busy street here Sunday morning because it's going to be crowded here on Sunday. But the construction company here is coming to do some work on this building. The landlady has hired someone to come in, and there's some loose stonework and some loose mortar up on the front face of our building here, and that'll be fixed on Sunday. It's funny, Sunday's the worst time to do it because this is a busy area on the weekends, but I can see what she's done. She's hired just some guy. He's coming in on his day off, I'm sure. So she hasn't hired an actual construction company, that would do the work on a normal working hours. Because it's Sunday morning at 8 o'clock, it's just some dude she's hired on his day off or something. So whatever, as long as it's done, that part of it's not my responsibility. But, have I calculated how long it will be until the house falls off the hill? Actually, it's funny. The sewage guys and I, they were really fun people, As soon as they realized I wasn't going to be any troublesome, whatever, they relaxed and we were just joking around and having a look at the stuff and whatever. And we had that exact conversation. Like we looked at the crack, and they didn't know the history. I told them when it was built 27 years ago, and there it was. You can see where the original connection was. And you can see how far it's opened in 27 years. So they got their tape out. They actually measured it and looked at this. And none of us know when it would actually fall over. And I said, look, I'm 69. I'll be 69 next month, whatever, 70 next year. So I guess I got 30 more years, right? It'll do till I'm 100. And we're looking at it and half laughing, half joking and saying, I guess so. Who knows, earthquake country. So you never can tell what's going to happen with this stuff. But it really is in no danger of falling off. The house itself is on hugely strong supports. It's I don't even know how to describe it. They're the kind of pillars and posts that you would expect to see at the bottom of an office building, and yet the only thing on top of it up there is a little ramshackle 2-story house. So it's extremely overbuilt, strength-wise. There isn't the slightest chance of any earthquake, shaking that thing. Just the problem is, because it's on a hill, there's the inevitable pressure to sort of slide downwards bit by bit by bit. But it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. Not in any normal time frame. But it shouldn't be there. And he said the same thing. He said, "How did they get permission for this?" And I'm like, "Well, I didn't. I bought it secondhand, so I don't know. I wasn't here. But it clearly does. It's gone through all the planning permissions and got that stuff and got coded and got built." And I bought it, but he shook his head, how did it actually happen, So I don't know, there was some funny money moving around back when it was built, or I don't know. There is one part to that is clearly actually a bit fuzzy, and it's not just my house, it's all the houses in that group. It's a residential area, and it's zoned for a maximum 2 stories. The whole area is 2-story zoning. And yet my building is 4 stories, as are all the buildings in the group. And I hadn't known about this when I bought it. I hadn't known about these rules and regs when I bought it. But when I was doing the diligence before buying the house, I went to the land registry and got the deeds and the copies of all that stuff. And that's where we found out that the gangsters had liens on the property, There was 3 liens on the property. But also, when we got the physical thing from the land registry, it mentioned there's the land, certain size, X meters, and then it said there were 2 buildings on it. A 2-story concrete structure, and then a 2-story wooden house. So it fits within the zoning. No 4-story buildings are allowed in this area. It's a 2-story maximum zoning. And when you just look at the land registry information, it seems okay. Land with 2 buildings on it. What the land registry information doesn't show is that one of these buildings is on top of the other. It's the concrete building at the bottom, and then on top of the concrete platform there's a 2-story house. I guess that's how they snuck it through. I don't know. It's a good thing this isn't Canada, because I remember living there many, many years ago. You'd see the occasional story in the newspaper or something about some problem between a building developer and code and city hall and stuff. And I remember there was occasions where you'd see something. There would be a house that was actually getting bulldozed because it turns out that the guys had played fast and loose with the zoning or something, or the building codes. And City Hall says, "That's it, man. Take that thing down. That's broken the rules. Take it out of there." And that wouldn't happen in this culture. Once it's there and once it's up. So I'm in no danger of the guy running back to City Hall and saying, "Look what they did 27 years ago," and pulling in the bulldozers. It's not going to happen. But clearly somebody played funny with all the rules. how old was the house when I moved in? I bought it 20 years ago. 20 years ago next month, 2 months from now in December, 20 years ago. And it was 7 years old at the time, so it's now 27. It's 3 years from end of life. A house of that type in Japan is, what's the word? It's amortized over 30 years. As of 3 years from now, it has no value, it's zero, nothing at all. And its value then goes negative because anybody buying the property would tear the building down and put it up. So I'm saying, are the prints secure there? It's a home. It's not a strong box. It's a home with normal security. The thing about the prints, our print collection isn't worth anything. There's nothing here that anybody would ever steal. Well, this is not the British Museum. Nothing in our collection has any actual monetary value whatsoever. So this is not anything that anybody would steal. The danger to our prints and stuff like that, and our blocks and our history, the danger is earthquake more than anything else. And they really, they're just pieces of paper. There's no big deal. Ishikawa-san, good morning. Kamidashite o. Hai. not so interesting stuff. It's just grass. Sorry, leaves, little leaves and grass. Kamidashita yo. So, who's this? Is this Karen's doing translation now? Oh, we're going to translate for the group. What Google says, kami dashita yo, is I started to bite. Kamu is a verb, kamu, but you don't put verbs at the beginning of a sentence in Japanese. Would something show up on the print even if it wasn't all the way to the level surface of the block, if it was carved down too much? Anything that goes below the level here, if I cut something down, then it's not going to show. I know, depends how far down, of course, but anything, we're leaving what you see in black here. This is the original surface of the block. And when it comes time to print, it's the original surface of the block is the only thing that goes to the paper. So this is my job, is to remove everything that isn't marked here in black, to get rid of it. If it's just fractionally tiny bit below the level of the surface, well, no, it could make a mark on the paper, of course. It depends how far we go down. But the idea here is to preserve the original surface in the areas that we want to make our image. Everything else disappears. Of course, there's people doing it with lasers and all kinds of machines nowadays, but this is the way I like to do it. There's a human touch to doing it this way that doesn't come from the mechanical methods. Part of this. Kind of ignore you guys today. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Has there been crow action here? I don't know. I didn't see. It is a nice day out there. It's going to be a nice weekend. The bars and restaurants, they will be really happy because the last few weekends have been just rainy. Yeah, it's too bad about the sky tree being blocked by that sign there. The guy sitting with his newspaper there, this is a weekend thing that we see. In the rain you don't see it, of course, but on nice days. There's where the red awning for the coffee shop is there. If you go one more block up, two more blocks up that street, up to the left, there's a huge building up there. It takes a whole city block. And it's the off-track betting center. Japan works similar to Britain in this sense. There's horse race tracks all over the country, which are busy on the weekends. And in the main towns, there are betting centers, off-track betting centers. It's a huge building. You go in there. I've never been in, but you know how it works. You pay your money, you buy your tickets, your betting tickets. And there's big screens showing all the games, all the races. And this guy, he's sitting waiting for it. It'll be open at 9 o'clock, maybe, or 9:30. I'm not sure when the doors open. The races won't start until early afternoon. And he's got his newspaper. He's got his tip sheet, and he's looking at the horses and deciding where to pay his money. And in the late afternoon, what we see here is a bunch of people come around from the off-track betting center. They've got a bib. They're dressed in like cleaners' clothes, and they're all going down the streets and they're cleaning up cigarette butts and the torn up receipts, because these dudes here, they go in there, they place their bets, they come out, they hang around the coffee shops, the bars, whatever. Then when the races are run, that's it. They've either got their winning ticket and back they go, or it's a losing ticket. Oh well, better luck next time. So all over the streets, all over here, there's come afternoon 2:30, 3:30 or so. There's all these torn up ticket stubs and cigarette butts and stuff from these dudes. So this years ago, it used to just be that was the culture here, but now there's a more modern ethic here. So the off-track betting center has all day on the weekends and any days that there's racing, they've got these cleaning crews. They've got their cleaning stuff and their bibs and their message on the back that says, we're working to keep your city clean and all that stuff. So this dude will sit here and maybe he'll throw his cigarette butt or his paper or whatever on the street, and it will now be automatically cleaned up. So a bib, it's like a, what's the deal? It's like runners in a marathon where they wear a bib with a number on it, right? I don't mean a bib for slurping your soup. Is that not the name of it? I don't know. I don't play the horses, no. I know nothing about it at all. It's the block. John's asking where it is. If we walk down here to Donkey, turn right, there's the Broadway. It's the big, large building on the right-hand side as you go up. You've probably never noticed it because it's a whole city block and there's no shops and it's just a gray, monolithic building. It backs onto Hoppy Street. So it's between Hoppy Street and Broadway. It used to be Hyotan Ike. It used to be a lake. And really, I wish it would go back to being a lake. It would really improve the neighborhood here. But what Japanese would throw as trash on the ground is old dudes about my age or older. Just the kind of guys that would spend Sunday afternoon in a betting center. It's just an older ethic, I'm not even sitting here trying to criticize them. It's just the kind of person that it is. When I was living in Ome, the farmer across, the householder across the river from me, he used to throw shit in the river all the time, Just his age group, that's all. Yeah, John's on here, or whoever it is, JRA, Japan Racing Association. So, I was invited, the guy who used to play in our blocks, Shimano-san, he lived not too far from here in Moto Asakusa. And he really tried to be friendly to me. In the Craftsmen's Association, everybody was sort of okay to me. I'd come in, drink my beer, and they'd chat and whatever. But nobody was warm to me. It was okay. I was an outsider. They grew up since they were kids together. So they let me in. They talked to me, but nobody was openly warm about things, except one guy, Shimano-san. He's the block planer. I used to sit there and chat with him and take pictures because I was really interested in stuff, and I'd ask him about, the history and whatever. And I guess he himself was maybe a bit of a loner in the group. And he used to do this. Every Sunday, he would come up here. I didn't even know this. I was living way out in West Tokyo. But this was his Sunday activity. Sunday morning, he'd come up here to the racing center in Asakusa, get a little can of sake in his pocket, and check the tip sheets and make his bets and stuff. And he asked me one day, he said, I must have been there on a Friday or Saturday picking up some wood blocks or something. He said, next weekend, come on, I'll show you how to do the horses and stuff, And I'm like, and I was just sort of repelled by this. And I should have just said, sure, okay. And I could have hung out with the guy. I wouldn't have done anything wrong. I would have hung out with him. He'd have showed me how to place the bets, and we could have walked around, and he would have chatted about his wood blocks and stuff. But I was so, no, I don't do that sort of thing. I don't do that sort of thing. I was just such a sort of a goody guy, and, So I'm like, no. And he said, okay, whatever. But yeah, in retrospect now, it would have been not just fun, it would have been, the guy, he wanted to hang out. And he's a guy who knew about our history and about what's going on, and one of the few guys that showed openness and whatever. He wanted to hang out, and I was just too uptight about that sort of stuff, Horse racing? No way, I didn't say that, but just simply, no. So, He's gone, of course. Stomach cancer. He was about, how old would he have been? Way younger than I am now. He'd have been maybe 57 or something, 58. Stomach cancer. Didn't tell anybody. His family knew, his wife knew, but didn't tell anybody else. And at the end, I didn't know, because I can't be really criticized for this, but he wasn't shipping the blocks. I'm waiting for wood blocks. I got a print to publish each month. I'd ordered, I order the blocks for each one a couple of months in advance. He makes them and sends them, And I was on the 100th print of the 100 Port Series, the 100th print, and the blocks don't show up, and they don't show up, and they don't show up. And I call him. His wife says, yeah, she's not quite feeling well today, so just hang on a little bit. And I'm like, my customers are waiting, I really kind of need this stuff, and whatever, So then partway along, the blocks do show up, actually a little bit late because I'd already given up and used some different wood for it. And then a couple of weeks later, I'm at the exhibition, the Poetry Series is up and running and all that stuff, and somebody phones me from the Kumiai Association, and did you hear Shimano-san died last night, and I'm like, what? He didn't tell anybody. He was dying of stomach cancer. He actually was really quite a nice guy, a very comfortable man, quite a nice guy, unpretentious. Didn't really get a lot of respect from the other craftsmen, unfortunately, because of the history. His father, his adopted father, whatever, the guy who was his oyakata, the business before him, Shimano-san married the guy's daughter and came in and took over the business. It's one of these deals where the guy before him didn't have any sons, and nobody else wanted to do this work, but he had a daughter. So Shimano-san married the daughter, took the name, and took the business, took over. And then that's it, just a few years later, passed away. But he didn't get a lot of respect from the guys because his predecessor had been really, really, really good at it in an era when, there was still good wood left and so. So Shimano-san was coming in a really lose-lose situation. The quality of the wood was decaying, the orders were decaying, the whole thing was on a downward slide. I have no idea why he even decided to come in and take it over, but he was really, really nice to me. Did what he could to get me good wood, I still see his wife now and then, his house where he used to live, or where his wife still lives. It's just about 3-4 blocks from here, so I see her every now and then. Say hello and chat for half an hour or something. You know. I should drop by more often, I guess. I don't know. Oh, John knows off-track betting centers have been there. So. This is a nice crunchy block, you know. We're not hearing much of that now because we're doing the key block carving, because we're doing the key line carving. Excuse me. But once we've finished all the delicate cutting here, You know, it'll be days from now, weeks from now, whatever. Once we're finished all the delicate cutting, we switch to the larger tools. Then I'll be using the ice skate. That's when we're going to hear some real crunch, crunch, crunch. This is a nice, crunchy piece of wood. But when you're using the cutting tool, there's no chance to hear that. So, whatever, it'll come in its turn. This is an old piece of wood. I don't know the exact date, but it is somewhere around 100 years old. We've been buying old blocks where we can catch them. And this is an interior slice taken from a previously carved wood block from, I believe it was the Taisho era, pre-war. And this is what was the inside of that piece of wood. We sliced off the top, sliced off the bottom. So it's a piece of wood that should have been hidden forever in the middle, buried, a wood surface that was buried in the middle of another piece of wood. And we sliced that away, exposed this, and now it's getting a chance to come to life. I have no qualms at all about the fact that we are cutting down trees and destroying trees, and we're actually doing such little of that, it's irrelevant. But the wood that we use from those trees is just being preserved and used so well, Even the first time around, this wood has already been a woodblock print once over. And now it's getting a second chance to become another print, talk about recycling, good grief, And then the product we're going to make from this, the print itself, is going to last another couple of 100 years. That's just insane. We should try and add all these things up, the amount of energy that we use in making these things and what benefit it provides to human beings. There's probably nothing on this planet that has a better ratio of minimal energy expended and maximum benefit brought, assuming the existence of a woodblock print is a benefit to humanity. Not expending energy to do this, but the amount of gasoline and energy and stuff. One light bulb, that's it. That's all I've got here, How's our time? I forgot to looked up and checked the time and forgot to check the time. 9 o'clock, we're okay. Yeah, of course, there is lots of stuff involved. We ship the prints worldwide and stuff like that. But so of course we use energy, same as anybody, same as all of you who sit in there right now are using energy. Of course we do. But I think if you try to calculate the thing, most of the aspects of our work really are, I think, and maybe I'm just biased here, but I think they really are low energy stuff. Do our prints get shipped around the world? Yes, they do. Are they extremely lightweight? Yes, they are. The energy cost for getting one of our prints from me to you in Knoxville or wherever you are is extremely low. And again, when you make your calculations on this sort of thing, you've got to make the calculations over the lifespan of the product. Not just the energy that it takes to make it, but how long that thing's going to last. And my take on this, it's not garbage take. These things are going to last hundreds of years. So when you factor that into the calculations, ohayou gozaimasu, domo, arigatou gozaimasu. Hai, domo. That's the Ome shipment, the Friday Ome shipment. It's goods, prints that are ordered from America, And because we can't still ship to America straight, they're going to go by FedEx, and that's my job. So sometime over the weekend, I'm not sure how much is stacked up here. I don't think there's enough for a FedEx shipment yet, but it'll be this box plus the next box. And I'll be loading him onto into a FedEx package to go to America. So. Dave has the exact same back and forth with the delivery guy every day. Yeah, he brings a package, I say thank you, and he goes away. What do you expect us to do? These guys do not stop and chat. I mean, you know the deal here. This is super bang, 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 bang. How long did it take him to deliver on my package? 15 seconds, you know. These guys are not, it's the bare minimum, you know. They're friendly people, of course, but there's no chatting, no sitting and chatting. Their service is astonishingly efficient, you know, astonishingly efficient. You know. I've seen it morph over the years. They were just getting started when I came to Japan about 35 years ago. There were a couple of delivery systems being built, and these guys, Yamato, Black Cat, they've just done it. They've taken over the whole business, and their margins obviously are extremely low, and the guys work so hard. The guy that I'll see delivering here, I'll go out for dinner or something, pick up my dinner, come back at 8 o'clock, and he's getting back with his last buggy full of stuff, you know. And there was a story in my English newspaper, this is years and years ago, they interviewed some of these people, because there was fear that this was what they call a black company. They call it black gaisha, where the company works the people too hard, doesn't pay them enough, you know, just a black environment to live. And these guys have made a bargain. It's sort of a pact with the devil. Yamato is actually paying high salaries, really quite high salaries, but the work hours are extremely long. It's go, go, go. You don't see your family. A lot of these guys work 7 days a week. Their choice. I know the max, of course, is 5, but a lot of them sign on to do more. And the deal is, they're mostly quite younger guys, and they sign on for, I mean, they're not signing on, but I mean, they work for this company and stay for a decade or so, and save and save and save, and then quit the Yamato business after 10 years or so, and they've got like $500,000 in the bank or something. They're working so hard they don't have time to spend money. They're getting paid well. And that's the deal. You make your bargain with it. You go into this job knowing that it is one of the jobs from hell, but you say, okay, I am going to do this for just this many years and do that. You know, they're not all like that, but this was the point of it. So. And they've also evolved. It used to be trucks. You know, there would be a truck running down every little street. They don't do that anymore. Out in Ome, the guy comes with a truck because it's such a widespread area. But here in Tokyo, it's push carts and it's bicycle carts. I mean, the trucks deliver the stuff to the center, and then getting it away from the center, it's push carts. And he's got his little local route of 10 blocks or 15 blocks, whatever it is, you know. And he pushes his little buggy around, you know. What's time? 9:06, a bit more. Which to do. Not sure what time to quit here because the show and tell could be short, it could go long, we could do this either way. There's three things to look at here. I know what I meant to ask. I forgot. It's Saturday morning here, so it's possible that Taran-san, is he around today? Or not? I didn't see his name in the chat here. Taran-san, the young carver. Speak up. Taran, are you here today? Taran KC. Maybe yes, maybe no. He's around or was earlier. Soka. There was something I meant to ask him, and I could send an email later on, whatever. No problem. Not with us. He's going to have to do some carving. Instead of watching me carve my dots, he's going to have to carve dots. No, I have something for him. Something I want to send him, but I don't have his address. So. How we do for time? 9:11. Okay, a few more minutes here, and then we've got a bunch of stuff to show. A bunch of stuff to show today. Dots and dots and dots. Okay, as a bit of a warm-up to today's show and tell, somebody can perhaps find a link for me, please. If you could go to the Mokuhankan collection and find the page, the prints that I put up just the other day, the Tokaido Hagaki series, the one that came from the Meiji time. I forgot, I think it's number 89. Is it number 89 in the collection? If someone can go to that page and find the print in the set that is Okitsu. It might be written Okitsu, it might be written Okutsu. Okitsu. If somebody could find the link for me, please, for the image of the Okitsu print in the collection, the Tokaido series that we just uploaded last week, the ones that I talked about in the last week's YouTube video. We have an update to that, and it's kind of interesting. I think it's kind of interesting anyway, whatever. And there is something about the collection maybe that sometimes people haven't noticed. I don't know, for each print that's in the collection there's a tab that says data. And in the data, there is a link. It's written so that you can see it and copy and paste it. I was trying to make the collection easy for people to pass items around. So if you go to that Okitsu print and look at the data tab, you'll see there a link that you can copy and paste into the stream here. And there's something I'm going to show in a few minutes that's related to that print. So if you've got the image there, it'll help. Somebody's probably already got it by now. Someone's got it. Vivid KP, chocolate eggs, chocolate eggs. I should have prepared some eggs here, so I didn't think about it. Thank you, ma'am. Actually, Tilda, it's interesting. I'm not sure what actual image you're going to see because I replaced that image last night with another image with the same file name. So depending on browser caching, if you've been to those pages before, your browser may be caching a picture, and I replaced it last night. So whether you see the one I put up last night or not, I can't tell. Why did I replace it? I just put those pictures up on that website a few days ago. And yet I've already replaced one, and I'm going to be replacing a couple more. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? I think it's time. We got to get going. We got to get moving on. We got to get moving. Somebody else almost beat her to it. Yeah, right. I know you don't need to clear your cache. I'm just mentioning it that there are now two versions of that here. Okay, let's shrink this down. Okay. Stuff to show, stuff to show. What's in the box? We have three things here, so let's try and control this one thing at a time. First off, just as a quick update, you know this set of prints, we talked about this in the video the other day not going to go through the whole thing again here now, but I need to show, I'll use that, here we are. This is the one we're going to use as the example here. This is the stuff we've been showing now off and on, off and on, off and on the past few days. This is the Meiji era print set of the Tokaido prints that we scored last week. We did videos about this, it's in the collection. After I got that auction package last week, I learned about this publisher. This is the Fujisawa Mankado. It was all new to me. I hadn't known about this set of prints at all. But after getting these prints last week, I started doing some quote-unquote research on this. These are from Meiji 35, which was 1906. Anyway, I started doing some research on it, as we mentioned. I found some photographs of the blocks. We talked about those in a previous stream, no problem. Very, very interesting blocks. Something else popped up. Somebody's asked me, have I reached out to them yet? No, we're just busy, busy, busy. It's on the list of things to do. I can't possibly go to Kyoto right now this week. Impossible. Anyway, that's on the back burner for something else. But what also turned out is now that I know this publisher's name, I can do some searching for this. And I did some searching and I found another batch of those prints. So this was not a complete set, but this was another batch of prints from that same set. 20 individual prints from the set. What to do with them? Keep them, sell them, whatever. What we've done is, I've already swapped out a couple of mine. In my own set, it's already mine, isn't it? In my own set, where's the Mariko print here? So, in my own set, this was the one that was in my set. Very stained, very beaten up. The new one that we got yesterday, is much more nicely printed. So it's really interesting to be able to see more than one take of a same woodblock print. Here's the one we got last week, quite dirty, quite scuffled. And look at this, the white on the plum tree here, which I didn't look carefully at and assumed was just carved out in traditional woodblock style, is not. This new copy that we got this week, look at this, the white on the plum tree is opaque pigment stuck up on top, and there's no way the original Hiroshige print was done like this. And this is a Kyoto publisher now adapting this sort of stuff and thinking, do we need to carve all those little white dots? No, let's do it the way we've always done this stuff, and let's stick white pigment on top of it. And this will be the first Hiroshige print ever made in the world with white opaque pigment stuck on top of it. So for me, this is a bit of a minus. These guys are fooling around with this, already cheating on this. But what was more interesting to me, if I go back to Okitsu, the kanji itself is Oku, but it seems that the place name is Oki, Okitsu. So I think in the video the other day, I may have pronounced it wrong. I pronounced it according to what you read, Okutsu, but it's not. The people down there pronounce it as Oki, Okitsu. Whatever, I'm not the leading Japanese expert here. So anyway, so we now have, let me put these two side by side. I've already lost it. What did I do with it? I got it ready to show you and then got shuffled here. We now have the version that I had last week and the version we have this week, and bing, 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 the color blocks are different. Under the microscope, the key block is absolutely identical. Every dot and scratch. And the key block is identical, not just nearly. There are parts where the rock surfaces are scratched. And on both of them, they are scratched in exactly the same way. Stuff that you cannot duplicate with a knife. So it's the same key block. But look at the kimono, the yukata, on this guy here. And then look at the one on this. How can I get them side by side? It's a different pattern. It's not just worn out, it's absolutely a different pattern. And when you look in the background, there's little bits here and there in the water in the background. The lines are slightly different. In the gray on the background, they're slightly different. These are different color blocks, but the same key block. We were chatting about this a little bit in the last stream. Remember, the idea was, why is the key block in such good condition? Because I think the key blocks were printed in a printing press. And it sounds a bit paradoxical. Printing them in a printing press is less abrasive on the blocks. When we rub, we take a brush and we rub pigment over it, and then we press on the back. And the pressing isn't the part that gives wear and tear on the blocks, it's the rubbing with the brush. So this print set seems to have been printed with the key blocks in a printing press. Roll, pum, roll, pum, roll, pum, roll, pum. Light touch, no wear and tear on the blocks. In those days, you can't print color in a printing press from these blocks. Just the pressure doesn't work right. So out it goes over to the printing people, the wood block printing people. Color blocks get carved, color blocks get printed. And they must have made so many copies of these that the color block set wore out and had to be recarved. Different color blocks. So first, when I got these the other day, I thought, wow, there's extra copies of these. We can sell them to all our friends on the chat and stuff like this. Sorry, guys, this isn't leaving here. This is staying here. This is just as an important part as having just one, having two of them. And again, it's not just wearing out. It's absolutely, the lines are chopped in different places. This is a different set of color blocks. So we'll do more updating. That video, once I get a chance to see the Kyoto stuff and get more information, that video will clearly have a supplement to the supplement at some point. So the story will continue. The story will be more. Okay, this was not today's official show and tell. I just wanted to pass that on as we got it. There's a reason why the key block is pressed, because you can print key blocks in a printing press. You can't print color blocks in a printing press. It just doesn't work. Okay, here we go. Today's official show and tell is this white envelope. But excuse me. But first, I want to find out what has come to us from Scotland. Here's all I know about this. It's from Amazon, and the return address is from Dunfermline in Fife. Now, whether that means the person sent it from Fife or just simply that's the Amazon address, and it says, and here's the only clue, Kitchen New Count 1. And someone has sent us a gift. Kitchen New Count 1. Miniature bagpipes, no idea. Has somebody owning up to this? Is this one of the chat people that is sending this? I have no idea. A Baron cooking stamp. Kitchen New, count 1. It's a whole kitchen. Look at this. It's actually a present. Look at this. Actually, oh, it could be. Actually, I don't know if I should talk about this or not. There's a birthday involved. Not today, but soon. There is a birthday involved. Return information is inside. What do we open first? It's not my birthday, but there is a birthday at some point coming up. Look at this, look at this, look at this. There's a message. Oh, the person's name is here. Is that okay to show the name, I wonder? I wonder if it's okay to show the name. I don't know. Maybe not. Anyway, okay. We found you online by happy accident and thought you might like this. Thanks for all the great videos. Love, and then it's a couple's name. Kinda? I guess it's better maybe not to show the name. I'm not sure. Whatever. They've seen, so it's not anybody from the chat then. Okay. But they've seen the videos. Self-painting mug. Painting has never been easier. You're going to have to explain this to me. Ah, look at this. Look at this. You get the idea? When the mug is cold, it's just you and Bob Ross ready to paint. Pour in a hot beverage, and Bob Ross painting reveals itself before it runs. Are these people here? Bob is big in Scotland. Bob is big everywhere. The image appears with the warmth. Interesting, interesting, interesting. We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents. How to take care of your mug. Do not machine wash. Do not machine wash? Oh, you mean like in a dishwasher? Interesting, interesting. Well, if you're here, thank you very much. If you're not here, maybe you'll see this later, thank you. But there is a name, so I will be able to contact these people. Good. We need hot water as soon as possible. Well, I don't have any hot water right here. There's no hot water down here at all. Upstairs on the 3rd floor is our nearest hot water, so I'm not going to run up there right now. Oh, what is it? There's instructions here, actually. Just a minute. I better be careful not to screw this up. Peel film, do not machine wash. You're supposed to peel the film off, or you're not supposed to peel it off? There it is. There's a film that comes off. I see. Okay. I'm going to leave it alone for a few minutes here. I'm going to leave it alone. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hot tea next stream. So, am I going to get judged on the peel? There's supposed to be a show and tell. We've only got 2 minutes left. Okay, it's all right. Actually, I got to be careful. I don't want to make too big a deal about this because I don't want to encourage too much of this. I mean, thank you very much. Very nice thought. Thank you. But of course, I will make sure, and I will, I drink coffee in the morning, so I will make sure that next stream I'm ready to show how that works. Okay, today's show and tell. Actually, it's a small show and tell. That's okay. We're obviously going to run a few minutes over the stream here. We're going to run a few minutes over the stream. This is small goods that came up last week on Yahoo Auctions. I don't have a link for you, but this came up on the open public auction. It was an item that was there. I've got the same story I tell you all these times, We don't have a lot of money to throw around. We can't buy a ton of stuff these days. It's a pandemic. People are supporting us. But every now and then, small stuff comes up on the auctions that nobody else wants, and it's pin money. Like if I skip my lunch, I can buy something like this. This one came up, and it was 2,000 yen. It was 2,000 yen, and it is just such a beautiful little treasure. And I'd said, whatever, I'm doing what I can to try and talk about these and to show these and make people more interested in these and make it so that when they come up on auction, it's not nobody bidding, it's 1,000 people bidding is what I would like to see. I want to see people interested in this stuff, but at the moment, nobody cares about it. What these are, they're what's called pochi bukuro. Pochi is pouch, bukuro is bag. So it's just a generic word, a little bag. And in the old days, before machines took over all the printing was done by woodblock prints. And a couple of cultural things are happening in combination here. You've all read about Japan where you're not supposed to pass money by hand. You're supposed to wrap up the money and present it to people. In the modern era, we go in a shop, we put the money on the table, and that's it. But if you go back before the modern conveniences and shopping, nobody would give money straight. You had to wrap it up for everything. Nowadays, we wrap up money when it's a wedding present or a funeral present, stuff like that, or you're giving money to a child for congratulations for university graduation, whatever. So real gift money gets wrapped up, but normal money being passed around doesn't. But when I first came here in 1986, we opened an English conversation school in our class. Parents would put the money for the next month's for the class fees, they'd give it to the kid, they'd wrap up the money, and the kid would give me the envelope with next month's money. Anyway, long story short, these are commercial items that you would go to the stationery store to buy. And they were money envelopes. You would get these envelopes, you just buy them in packs of 10 or whatever you're going to do, and you would put money in and pass them on to people. My mother is here. I'm big enough to know better. What have I done wrong now? Now what have I done? I didn't swear. I didn't do anything bad. Mom, what's wrong, Mom? Nobody's saying. Anyway, hi, Mom. I don't know what I've done, but whatever. That's the way it goes, isn't it? Anyway, where was I? So these are envelopes, and these are not new. These will be a generation old. They're not going to be dated, but these will be from, I don't know, 1950s, 1960s, whatever. And they're a little bit upscale. This is not what you would have given to your kid to go and pay the English conversation fee for next month. These are a little bit more upscale than that. They would have been reserved for maybe you're paying your fee to your koto sensei or your calligraphy teacher, or a real gift. And these are woodblock printed envelopes. And there's 12 in the package, 12 in the set here, and they cost me 2,000 yen. Oh, skipping lunch, that's what's wrong. Mom, I'm actually not going to skip lunch. I'm going to have lunch, believe me. I'm not going to skip it. I was just trying to, And look at these, look at these, look at these. I mean, just whatever. Those of you who know about printing, gradation, gradation, gradation. 3 gradations have to be done on separate blocks at separate times. Gradation on the green, there's a gradation on her shoulder. These guys have done it properly. These guys have done it properly. I didn't even see what's going on. Should we just go through to see what we got? This is a sort of a little bit, they're touched with an Art Nouveau kind of, or an Art Deco kind of ethic, some of these things. It's a mix of Japanese ukiyo-e with a little bit of Art Deco. So these they're not as old as Taisho era, but the designs and concepts come from about the Taisho early. Should I get a bit closer? Beautifully, beautifully, beautifully made. These are just such tasteful. The carving, I mean, look, just how close can we get here? I'll keep my thumb in so you can see the scale. That's about as close as we can get. I think this is a bride, the image of here, this is a bride, and perhaps that's a hint here. Maybe somebody would have used this to take the money for giving people for a bridal thank you. So, somebody's pointing out, I didn't even notice it. So, she has red on her cheeks. There is she has a blush on her cheeks. The white here, that's a good question. No, it's not the white paper. This is printed white. This kimono is printed with white pigment here. I can't open it both ways. That's the paper color. In fact, there you are. That'll be the paper color, I think. And that white is printed white. Simple and clean, but so nicely done. So nicely done. So nicely done. I know, Japan is a kind of a mixed up country. They do some things really, really well and some things really, really not well, and history is what it is, and it's a really interesting place. But to live in a culture which will do stuff like this, we'll spend this much time and effort and precise, beautiful energy for something like this, This one too, I cannot even see this face. It's beyond my sight. I need this under the microscope. Look at the gradations, sideways gradations on these hats. Does the base go on before or after the colors? The base, I'm not sure what you're talking about. The key lines go on first. Absolutely, the key lines go on first with one exception. when you were printing a base white like this, my guess is this white would have gone on first because it's an opaque pigment. Then the key lines would have gone on top of the white and then the colors. When there's prints without opaque pigments involved, like this one seems to be, the key block would go on first, light gray, then the colors would go on. And black here is a color. This line and these shoes are not part of the key block. The key block is gentle gray. We see that in her hands and here. This is a little bit of silver. It's aluminum pigment on top last. That's not white paper, that's aluminum silver. No moon, no stars, Soka. Again, the white you see here, this is Kyoto style printing. The white you see here is opaque on top, not the white paper showing through. Classic shiborizome. It's in imitation of tie-dyeing. We saw one of these in the stream just a few days ago, right? Different kind of a scale. The white here is the white paper showing through. And the aluminum, again, aluminum powder on top of it. They're printed, of course, as flat sheets. You know, there's a sheet of paper that's flat with the design printed and then folded and turned into an envelope after the printing is finished, of course. They're not printed in folded form. The famous scenery in Kyoto. And this one, the white we're seeing here, is paper white showing through. Classic snow, paper white. You know, these are at the edge of the transition between the two things. I mentioned, you know, envelopes just used for money, but we're transitioning here to stuff that would have been made perhaps for collecting as well. And perhaps, I don't know, perhaps this set of 12 was for sale in an upscale stationery shop, and maybe some people would have bought them to use for wedding gifts, and maybe some people would have bought them as collectible items. I don't know. There's a bit of a transition. But I don't care. Very nice. And I will happily spend my lunch money on such things. Beautiful, beautiful. They're very well preserved too. These are in the collection. These are not going out for sale. I'm sorry. I'm not selling anything here. These are going into our collection. And speaking of the collection, lots of new stuff. I think what I might do for the collection is try and make a page there that shows what's new, what's new. Because when you come back to the collection now, there's no easy way for you to tell what's new, except if you go to the search box on the collection and look at the bottom of the search box, there's a link to what's called the quick browse mode, which just dumps 1 million thumbnails. And if you go to the far right, the last new page of thumbnails, those are the newest items that have been uploaded. So that's the easiest way just to see what's new in the collection. All right, here we are. It is Saturday. We're at the end of this. I have a ton of work waiting for me now. I'm not sure which jobs. There's many jobs. First job is to make a nice cup of hot, fresh coffee and try this. Happy accidents. Thank you again to the benefactor here. Good fun. Other than that, I'll see everybody Monday morning. 48 hours minus 90 minutes from now. Thanks for joining us again. Until then, bye for now. No tummy rumbling. This is a good idea. If I forget, remind me about this. This is a new place for the microphone. Bye for now, guys. See you next time. Let's zoom in a bit here. Where's that? Let's end with that. I don't know. I think, which is the favorite one? I don't know. They're all beautiful. They're all beautiful. My God, they're beautifully made, you know. Huntony, they're beautifully made. Look at this. There is an Art Deco ethic to these, you know. It's Taisho era stuff. Beautiful, beautiful. Bye for now.